All right, let's jump right in. We're heading to Chicago for this incredible story about two brothers, Daniel and Lucas. Now, they both start out in the same family business, but their ideas about success, about ambition, about what character even means, well, it sends them down two completely different roads. This is a story about what it really takes to build something that lasts. So, right at the heart of this whole thing, you've got these two classic types, right? On one side, you have the high flying, public facing CEO, the guy who loves the spotlight. And on the other side, you've got the forgotten brother, the quiet, hardworking one who gets shoved aside. How they end up basically trading places, well, that's the whole story. Okay, section one, two brothers, one company. So it all starts here with their dad's small construction business. After he passes, the two brothers are left to carry on the family legacy. But, and this is a big but, they have totally different ideas about how to do that. Now, this is what you really need to know. Let's break down who these guys are. You've got Daniel, the older brother. He's the rock. Responsible, hardworking, the one who held everything together when their dad died. Then there's Lucas. Younger, comes back home with a fancy MBA, super ambitious, and yeah, maybe a little bit selfish. One's a builder, the other's a deal maker. That difference is going to be everything. You just knew this wasn't going to last, right? This clash of styles. Lucas starts to think that he's the real brains of the operation. He sees his brother's careful, steady approach not as a strength, but as a weakness. And it all just explodes in one single, pivotal board meeting. And there it is, the knockout punch. In front of the entire board, Lucas delivers this absolutely cutting line. He paints Daniel's care and his loyalty as being emotional and positions himself as the professional leader they need. It's a classic corporate power play, except this time it's against his own brother. And Daniel's response to this? Just silence. He doesn't scream, he doesn't argue, he doesn't fight. He just calmly puts his files down on the table and walks out of the company he built. There's this quiet dignity in that moment that, trust me, becomes so important later on. And just like that, the moment Daniel walks out that door, their lives split into two completely different worlds. We get to see, side by side, two totally different ideas of what it means to build a business. The contrast is immediate, and it's stark. Lucas gets his prize. He's the new CEO, kicking back in a luxury office, the symbol of his power. And that very same night, what's Daniel doing? He's moving into a small, humble apartment. You just can't make this stuff up. So what do they do next? This is where it gets really telling. Lucas chases the spotlight. He's all about media interviews, getting his face out there, building an image. Daniel, he goes right back to the beginning. He's out there taking small construction jobs. See the difference? Lucas is building a brand, while Daniel is actually building things. And this just perfectly shows their different philosophies. Lucas is all about the big deals, the flashy headlines, the big money contracts. Daniel, meanwhile, is focused on relationships and quality. He's on the job site, eating lunch with his crew, building trust from the ground up. One guy's chasing a signature, the other is building a foundation. Okay, let's hit the fast forward button. 3 years go by. And now we get to see what happens when you build on a foundation of sand versus a foundation of solid stone. Enough time has passed for the consequences of their choices to really show. And, well, the results are in, and they're not pretty. For one of them, Lucas's company, yeah, it grew fast, but it was a total house of cards. Risky loans, massive debt, projects left unfinished. And Daniel, in that same time, with his small, quiet jobs, he built something priceless. A rock-solid reputation for trust and reliability. So right as Lucas's empire is about to completely collapse, this new player emerges in the city, Stone Rise Builders. And this firm, it's everything Lucas's company isn't. They're respected, they're known for being honest, and they actually finish their projects on time. Lucas is desperate, right? His only hope, he thinks, is to meet with the owner of this mysterious, successful new firm. But the big question is, who's the genius behind it all? Yep, it's Daniel, the forgotten brother, the one Lucas wrote off as being too emotional to understand business. Turns out, while Lucas was busy chasing headlines, Daniel was quietly building a real empire, founded on character. And that brings us to the final showdown. The tables have turned. So Lucas sets up this meeting, walks into this fancy conference room, desperate to save his company. And he has absolutely no idea he's about to come face to face with his past. You can just picture it, can't you? Lucas walks in, ready to plead his case, and there, sitting at the head of the table, is his brother. Not broken, not defeated, but confident and completely in control. The power in that room has totally 100% flipped. After Lucas finally admits he made a huge mistake, Daniel doesn't rub his face in it. Instead, he drops this incredible piece of wisdom. He separates the business mistake from the personal betrayal, showing a kind of maturity that Lucas never, ever had. So Daniel has him. He holds all the cards. He could absolutely crush him. And honestly, a part of you might think Lucas deserves it. But Daniel, he's playing a different game. He has a different idea of what revenge looks like. So here's the offer he lays out. Step 1. My company, Stonerise, we're going to acquire your failing business. But there's a condition. And oh man, it is a big one. You, Lucas, have to come back as a junior partner. You have to start all over again and learn how to build things the right way. Daniel's way. And Lucas, he accepts. Without a fight. And that's the lesson he finally learns. The fancy title, the luxury office, the media attention, it was all worthless. In the end, the only thing that actually endured was character. So in the end, Daniel's victory wasn't loud or angry. It was just the quiet, undeniable result of his character. He built something real, something that would last, while his brother was busy building a fragile, hollow image. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. After that betrayal, after being kicked out of your own family business, if you were Daniel, could you have made that same offer? Would you have been able to forgive your brother? It's a tough question about where business ends and family begins.